Doctor, are you currently seeing patients with shoulder pain? What about frozen shoulder? What if I could teach you a neurological treatment system in which you could literally take a person from frozen shoulder to a full range of motion in 2 visits? And this system is so powerful that we guarantee results in 2 visits, or we don't accept the patient for care. Hi, I'm Dr. Andy Barlow. I'm a board certified chiropractic neurologist. I also carry a fellowship in functional neurology, and every Wednesday night at 5 p.m., I'm giving a 1-hour seminar free of charge. I'm here to help you. I'm here to help your community. I'm here to help our profession go to the next level. I personally look forward to seeing you every Wednesday night. I want to completely change your life and change your community's life. And I can help you do that because I've helped hundreds, if not thousands, of doctors from Europe to Canada, all the way to New Zealand with these types of health issues. Okay? So I look forward to seeing you Wednesday night at 5 p.m. Central on the webinar. Have a great day. I look forward to seeing you on the internet.
Probably have an old school website, just like this old school Voltron from the 80s. Here's the thing, video websites are dominating the entire internet right now, but only 3% of people have video websites. What is a video website? When there's continual movement. The beautiful thing about continual movement is that when you have movement, it keeps the buyer wanting to stay on the website. Here's the beautiful thing. If you look here at Dr. Mo's website, he is dominating. His website's everywhere. Not only that, but he's omnipresent. It's about time to get you out of the static world websites where they don't move, doesn't do anything for you, but come into the video websites where we dominate Google and get you omnipresent. It's time to step in the future of marketing. Make sure you click on the button at the bottom for a consultation, and we'll get back with you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mark Anthony. I have Dr. Mo Karim here with us. Thanks, everyone, for showing up today. I'm really excited. I have my Dunder Mifflin cup, just relaxing, and I get to hang out with Dr. Mo Karim. We're going to be talking about, we're just going to keep it real simple. You know, we hear a lot about the coronavirus and things and what's going on, and I feel like a lot of people don't have a lot of answers. And Dr. Mo's been on our show a couple times. We talked about, the other time we talked about weight loss. We also talked about neuropathy. And now Dr. Mo has started a regenerative medicine clinic. And I know that business is booming right now. And let's talk about your clinic. But before we do, Doctor, the topic here, everyone, is the coronavirus, what they don't want you to know. So this is very important, and I'm excited, Dr. Mo, that you're here. Thank you.
Well, thanks for having me, Mark. It's always good to see you again and always chat with you. Yeah, love that. I wish I could be there having coffee with you, but you know
and the social distance,
the crisis that's going on.
No, definitely. So let's talk about, let's keep it simple. Let's talk about your new regenerative medicine clinic that everyone is right now talking about in the North Liberty, Iowa area.
Yeah, Mark, so we did open our medical clinic here in the last 2 months. And, people will ask me, hey, you guys still open? Yeah, well, we're definitely still open. We're still seeing patients. Patients are coming in. And we'll be talking about what is it that we're doing here when we're getting done here towards the end to help boost the immune system, because that's all it is. I mean, there's things that you can cut out that will help boost your immune system. There's things that you're able to do just naturally. And then there's things that we're doing here in the medical clinic that, are helping a lot of people, just making them, everyone's scared. So it's knowing a little bit more in order to fill in the gaps, basically.
Right.
Okay. So yeah, our medical clinic, we have a medical director who's the owner, basically. He just oversees everything. And then we have the nurse practitioner that actually does a lot of the shots, or we do have IV bags here for immune boost, where we put a bunch of vitamins, in them, and she does that. And we'll talk about a little bit more of what exactly we do in there. And then I'm the CEO where I run everyday activities for it, whether we're seeing the patients, doing exams on them, kind of seeing what's best for the patient, and helping our community basically.
So, I mean, I love the fact, you know, you and I, we've known each other for a while, and number one, I just got to tell everybody, and we're not here trying to be, we're not trying to be scripted here. We're just keeping it real here. And one of the things that I admire about Dr. Karim is that he's really focused on not just treating a condition, but helping people get better right away. If you take a look at his testimonials just on his Facebook page, you see nothing but people being, you know, healed basically from like neuropathy, you know, even people losing weight, like just shedding weight off like it's no one's business. And what I would love to ask is, I know this is more of a newer venture that you're coming in right now. What kind of things are you treating right now within regenerative medicine and you're doing right now?
So I can tell you, Mark, we're not treating anything.
Okay.
We're not treating any conditions. We're not, fixing any conditions, right? What I can tell you is we're helping with symptoms. Okay.
Symptoms. Okay. There
so
we go.
Yeah, we can't say that we treat anything because, you know, everything. But I mean, I could tell you stories upon stories upon stories of what we've done or what other clinics have done, or,
right.
You know, that research is all online. You could put, hey, stem cells and whatever condition you've got and see how many research papers come up. So we don't treat any conditions. We help with symptoms, and basically as we help the body come back to normal, your body actually will heal itself. Your body takes over and heals itself. Think of it as we're just the tool that, hey, jump starts it, and then your body takes over and does everything. As long as you're cleaning your body, you're putting good stuff in it, and you're treating it as a temple. I mean, you should. You've got one body.
Okay, awesome. So I noticed you were saying that you guys also do IV treatment. How is that different if I were to do IV treatment? Or I'll give you an example. I mean, I actually have them right here. I got a whole bunch of pills. What's the for my vitamins? What's the difference?
So the biggest difference is, yeah, some people say, hey, I'm taking like 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C. Why should I come and do an IV drip of vitamin C? Well, your stomach, basically, when you take that pill, guess where it gets digested and absorbed from your digestive system. So that's why, I don't know if you've heard, like they say, hey, what your body can only digest a certain amount of, say, vitamin C,
right.
And then the rest gets dumped out and you excrete it because that's how much it can absorb. Well, with IV, you can absorb a lot more because that's going through the bloodstream, which that's where, you know, when you're getting stuff out of the gut, well, guess what? All the nutrients and all that then gets dumped into the blood. Or we're supplying it directly into the blood, and that's why we can give higher doses of whether it's magnesium, vitamin C, B12, you name it, we're doing it. I mean, zinc is the biggest thing that there was a shortage of. We're giving zinc. So, so there's lots of things that we're doing, but we're doing it either IV or through the vein or, you know, through the muscle or anything like that in order to get that through your body a lot quicker and faster and higher dosage too.
So how would that look? So let's say if I went into your clinic, do you do a certain type of testing that tells me what levels that need to be up, and then you go with that? Is that how that works? And that's how you're able to see what my body needs? How does that work?
So there's multiple, there's different levels, right? So we can go by symptoms right now because of everybody in the corona. So if you don't have any symptoms, we'll give you a lower dose. If you do have maybe, hey, I was a little sniffly, sneezing, which isn't the symptoms of corona, but I'm just saying. Then we'll give you the next dose. And then there's the one where, hey, I've been sick. I really want to boost my immune system. what can you do? And we got that really high dosage one where we try and boost the immune system pretty quick. But yeah.
Wow. So like, it's funny. It's not funny, but I bring that up, I guess, whenever I get kind of scarce. I went to the doctors just to get a checkup, and it was kind of weird because they said that I was very low on vitamin D. And so, which is weird that, I mean, I take vitamin D all the time. And what that's telling me is that just because I'm taking vitamin D doesn't necessarily mean I'm getting all the nutrients out of the vitamin D. It might be a strand or two. So I know that I need to look at a different source. So do you have anything that you can help people where they can could they purchase vitamin D from you? Let's just say that they're not in your area, but they would like to purchase vitamin D or things like that.
Yeah, just go outside, get in the sun, get some sun.
You're
That's
funny.
the best.
Go outside, man. Yeah.
That's the best.
Hey, you're like, Mark, stop blocking the sun.
Just step outside. Hey, you should do your video outside. You'll get some vitamin D. No, I mean, we don't do supplements just because, just like I talked to you, you know, about your body isn't going to absorb it as well. And that's why doing it the IV style or IM style is a lot quicker and faster, especially right now. You know, supplies are limited. I mean, we do have limited supply. When we're done with it, we tell patients, hey, and we've got a list of them, right? There's a lot of people that want these immune boosts, and you can only get so much a week. And when we're done with it, we're like, hey, you got to wait till next week or when we get them back in. But yeah, if your immune system is down, I mean, you should get something. You should do something. Look for it. You know, even, I mean, if you can get the IV or IM, then yeah, go get some supplements. That'll be the next best thing. You know, even though you're still getting something. But not only, I mean, we're just talking about vitamins right now, but there's other things that you can do.
You're talking about IV, so I want to hit on that a little bit deeper. Like, if I were to, let's say if I lived in your area, of course, if I did, I'd be seeing you, but how many times should I be maybe doing that for my body? Once a month, twice a month? Is there like, because I know that IV is better than a pill or a supplement.
Yeah. Yeah. Some people are actually doing it like once a month as a maintenance.
Perfect.
You know, we've got like different, we call them cocktails.
Right.
Different cocktails for different things. I mean, you got athletes, right, that want to get more energy and build stamina and stuff like that. We got IV kit for that. You know, if you're hungover and you want an IV kit for, you know.
Hey, everyone, if you're hungover, you're having a hard time with the coronavirus and stuff like that right now, IV. Hey, you know what? Hey.
So there's IV kits for everything. You know, there's IV kits for boosting immune. There's IV kits for a viral or bacterial or just anything. You know, there's a bunch of cocktails that you can do for different things.
Well, hey, just mix it up with a drink. Hey, you know,
well, we'll give you a bottle of water.
Okay, here's a good one. A question that I would actually like to know more about is I'm hearing a lot about, I know that there's a lot of fake news online, so you got to be very careful where we're getting our information from, but I'm hearing there's two terms right now. You know, I keep hearing about stem cells and exosomes. If you could maybe talk a little bit about them, because I know they're both different, but kind of the same, at least from my knowledge.
Okay. So, yeah, I do get that all the time at the clinic with some patients where they're kind of confused. So I'll explain it to you. So stem cells, okay? There's three ways, I mean, there's multiple ways, but the three main ways that you can get stem cells, there's two, which are from your own self. You can get them from your own, so from your fat cells do store some stem cells. And that's a way that some people will get them out from, you know, your belly or anything like that, and then get it concentrated and inject it back in, right? The other way is through bone marrow. So some people will drill through the bone marrow, your leg, the femur, and get some stem cells out of that, and then again inject it back into you, right? But the third type, which is the type that we use, so we call them. So stem cells are basically like the bone marrow or anything like that. Those are called stem cells. The ones that we're getting are donated. Okay, so they're donated stem cells, and we get it from an umbilical cord. Okay, they're called mesenchymal stem cell, or some states will call them mesenchymal, or people call them mesenchymal. Mesenchymal, they get them from Wharton's jelly is another term that you'll hear quite a bit. But there's 5 criteria for that. Okay, it has to be a healthy mom, it has to be a healthy baby. The mom has to donate the umbilical cord. Okay, it has to be a C-section, so it doesn't get infected from natural birth or anything like that. And then the company that takes it to extract the stem cells has to do extensive testing on it. You can say A to Z testing, they're doing it. So they're testing for Lyme disease, testing for hepatitis, they're testing for AIDS, they're testing for everything. If it passes all these 5 criteria, guess what? The company gets it, then it extracts the mesenchymal stem cell out. And think of the stem cell as like an orange. Okay, so orange is big, right? Now these stem cells here in the U.S., you're only allowed, so it's FDA regulated, but not FDA approved. Okay, so FDA regulates how you can inject that. Can you inject it? Where can you inject it, and all that? So like in Panama, they can inject it through the vein or in joints or anything like that. But here we only can inject it through into the joint. So just think of it as, okay, the orange is big, we can inject in joints. So your ankle, foot, knee, hip, you can inject in the back, neck, shoulder, elbow, wrist. So any joint you can inject that in. Okay, so it kind of sits there, and the whole thing about stem cells is, think of it as you put it in, and what it does is it just starts to repair, restore, whether it's cartilage, tendons, muscles, whatever's damaged, it will start to kind of microfix things, okay, for us.
So basically, what I hear what you're saying is that, let's say if I have, let's say if I'm about to get some surgery done on my shoulder, but I don't want to, it would be a good time to maybe get a stem cell, take a look to your doctor, talk to him. So let's say if I have the pain here, does when you put it into the shoulder, does it literally act as a magnet to the inflammatory area? Is that how?
Yep. It basically loves inflammation.
Really? So
inflammation is where stem cells like to go and start healing that area.
So,
but you just said, hey, I've got shoulder pain, I'm going to go get shoulder surgery.
Right.
Well, in our clinic, we don't just go, okay, we're just going to inject your shoulder. Right? We have to do an extensive test to see, is it really the shoulder or is it not?
Oh, okay.
But some places will say, okay, yeah, we'll inject your shoulder, and then you'll come back in a year or 6 months or say, hey, my shoulder is still the same. It didn't do anything. And then guess what? The issue isn't in the shoulder. The issue is coming from the neck, because the neck nerves are innervating your shoulder.
Right, because it's connected.
And if we do an exam and do x-rays and do all that stuff and see that your shoulder, there's no degeneration or anything going in it, then why would I inject a healthy shoulder? Guess what? The problem's coming from somewhere else. And a lot of times it's what? The neck. So we have to inject the neck instead of shoulder. And I've had patients like that. They go, hey, doc, I came with knee pain, and you're not going to inject my knee, but you're going to inject my low back? Well, yeah, because that's where you have your degeneration. You compress the disc, you're putting pressure on the nerve there. That's where the problem is. And then they say, yeah, okay, I trust you, doc. Let's do it. And then they start seeing results. Oh yeah, my knee pain is gone. Oh, guess what? I've always had this aching pain in my back, and that's gone too. Well, yeah, we solved the problem. We try and solve the root problem, and not just, hey, I've got knee pain. Can you shoot my knee? Yeah, I'll do it. No, we got to do a test. And sometimes I've turned patients away. I mean, sometimes, yeah, it is the knee, but they've gone so long where it's bone on bone, and we can't regenerate anything anymore. So we tell them, I'm sorry, I can't help you.
Okay, so let's use me as an example. Let's just say I do have a shoulder problem, but then I also have a problem right here in my elbow. Would I need to do 2 shots?
That will be determined in the exam. So once you come and see me,
Okay.
we'll do an exam.
That was good. Okay.
Because I don't know. I mean, it could be that it's not even your shoulder or your elbow, it's your neck. Right?
Wow. No, I like that.
Or it could be just the elbow and it's radiating up to the shoulder. So it all really all depends. We got to do our exam. I mean, we do a lot of exams, neurological exams, a lot of testing just to make sure, okay, is this right? And then we do testing to see, well, is it also, it could be like a brain function, right? It could be that, you know, I touch you on your elbow, but yet your brain isn't picking that up. So it could be, well, the brain is not functioning, so this is not working because this is not working. So
Makes
there's
sense.
lots of factors that go into it. And I mean, we do a lot of brain-based therapy here in the clinic. We do neurofeedback because a lot of times we see that 95% of the time patients have something going on where the brain isn't communicating correctly, whether to their feet, to their hands, or to their body. So we got to fire this up again in order for other things to fire up.
So on the, I wanted to jump on neurofeedback. You beat me to the punch.
We do lots of stuff, Mark.
You know, I'm like, and like Inspector Gadget, man. Like,
Yeah.
you got everything. On stem cells, what would you say the average person that you see that's healing? So let's say you have 100 people you see. About how many people out of that 100 would you see? Would you say maybe 90%, 80% that you normally see that are healed that actually use stem cells?
That like have seen progress, you mean?
Yeah. You can use your own self or just from other people. I'm just trying to say, like,
So for in our clinic, it's 95% success rate.
wow.
Okay. And it's the 95% success rate, and it's because we have a lot of rehab equipment that they have to do as well. It's not one and done. You know, a lot of times you have to be coming in to do a lot of the stuff that we're doing in the clinic. We're doing lots of like oxygen therapy and traction and PEMF. I don't know if you've heard that, pulse electromagnetic.
Love
You know,
PEMF.
so we're doing lots of things to get the body again to
Regenerate.
getting back to normal in order for it to start healing itself. So there's lots of factors that we're doing in order to have that success rate. Now, people will go, well, what about that 5%? Well, I can tell you that the 5% are typically the ones that want to do it their way. Okay, they're not following the directions. They're not coming to their appointments.
Smoking.
So we tell them, hey, you need to get on this gut. A lot of times, it's people have a leaky gut, right? And I'll tell you, it's probably about 90% of people have a leaky gut syndrome, and we have to clean the gut in order for the whole body to function again. And a lot of times I go, well, I don't want to change the way I eat. Well, if you don't change the way you eat, then you're going to keep doing what you're doing, and you're going to keep suffering. So I can't help you. So if you're not going to change your mindset, if you're not ready to heal, then I can't help you.
Because that's half the
So
battle.
that's why the people that come in, the people that come in, I tell them, if you're ready to take the next step and do what I tell you to do, and you follow it to the T, then you'll see results. And that's true. But the people that go, no, you know, I'm just going to pick this and I want to do that, but I don't want to do this or this or this. Well, then I just put it down. You pick to do your way.
You know what? It would be great if you said, all right, hold on for just a moment. And you got your video camera right there. All right, so this is what I recommend. And so when they come back to you, the 5%, well, I did show you, and I'd be like this, hold on for just a moment and replay the video. So are you ready to do it the way that I told you to do?
I actually do that, Mark, but I don't put it on video. I actually write it down. So
Okay.
I write down my recommendation for them. And then if they go, no, I don't want to do this, 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 but I want to do this, this, and this. On the side, I go, Mark decided to do his own plan, did not want to do my best recommendation. And I sign it and date it.
You know what would be awesome?
And then I pull it out when someone comes and goes, I'm not seeing results, because I don't remember what.
Yeah, you have it all highlighted.
I bring it out and I go, oh, remember Mark? Hey, Mark, you wanted to do it your way. Are you ready now to do it my way?
You know what would be great? I'm not joking. You should try this for some time. I'd love to see it recorded. I'd laugh my face off. have a little popcorn machine, like in a little area, you know, make it all Disneyland, and you have like a big TV in there. And when they say, you know, doctor, I'm not feeling better whatsoever, right? And you record when you told them what needed to do, and you put it up on the big screen. After they're just saying, I don't want to do that, I want this and that, and you push it, pause, and then you zoom in on their face. You're like, enjoying your popcorn? Are you ready to? I'm just saying, that'd be a little theatrical, but hey, you know, it is what it is. One more question. Well, I've got a few more, but one of the main was, I know we talked about stem cells, and I'd love to get into neurofeedback, but exosomes, are they totally different from stem cells?
Oh yeah. So remember I was explaining the stem cell is the orange, right? And those, because they're big, we put them in the joints because they'll stick there and they'll start to heal.
Right.
Okay? So exosomes, that's a term that you probably hear more often, and I can't pronounce this word properly, so forgive me here, but the FDA wants us to use this term. Okay, you ready for it?
I'm ready for it, man. Put your seatbelt on.
Decellular, see, I can't even say it. Decellularized nanoparticles.
Wow, that's a huge. They did that on purpose.
Because I can't say it.
I could.
But it's AKA exosomes.
Right. Okay.
The reason why they want to change the names is because people are using it as if it's like a drug, because it's not a drug that, you know, because when you get a drug, they say, oh, it cures the symptom, or it does whatever, you know, it's for this condition, right? But the beauty about exosomes, it does everything. It's a whole body thing. Okay, so anything damaging your body, it'll go in and it'll start to heal it, and then it'll move on to the next thing. It'll start to fix that, and then the next thing, and then fix that. So the exosomes. So back to the orange. The exosomes are the pulps, the orange pulp. There's lots of pulp in an orange, and the exosomes are that tiny that actually a lot of times we'll inject them through IV. Okay, so you inject it through IV, so it goes throughout the whole body and actually crosses the brain barrier. That's how small they are. There isn't many things that cross the brain barrier, but that one does. So it crosses the brain barrier. So there's clinics out there that are using it for dementia, Alzheimer's, autism. I know there's one doc that all he does is autistic kids. Whoa. And yeah, and the results that he's had, and I think he's done a few research paper on it where they've changed autism, right? The kid's not autistic anymore.
That's the truth.
Same thing with dementia and Alzheimer's. There are actually studies right now, and I could be a part of that study to do that, where on dementia and Alzheimer's, but they're using it for MS. There's doctors that have done it for Lyme's disease. It's helped aid with liver disease, kidney disease, neuropathy, erectile dysfunction. I can keep going through the list, you know. It's basically for anti-aging. It's for lots of things. You can use it for lots of things, and that's why, like I said, they inject it through the vein, and it works throughout the body. And actually, it can work up to about a year, where it's still in your body. The longer it sits, the more things that you'll see the difference, basically.
It sounds a little different than the stem cells, because I noticed the exosome, it works in one area, then after it's done, it goes to the next area. But stem cells doesn't do that. It just goes right to the exact area.
Remember, it's big, it'll stick there. Exosomes, they're tiny, go everywhere. Okay.
Bingo. It's like a grenade.
So let me put it in a term of why, because you asked, the first thing was the stem cells, and I told you the three types, right? The fat, coming out of fat cell, the bone marrow, and then the mesenchymal stem cells, which is from the umbilical cord. Okay, so those we call 0-day-year-old stem cells. Okay, they're 0-day-year-old. They haven't been exposed to, you know, any toxins, any diseases, anything like that. So let's say, Mark, you're 80-year-old.
Right.
You've got 80-year-old stem cells in you. Okay. If you're 30-year-old, you've got 30-year-old stem cells in you. Okay. So let me put it in perspective. So they did a study. It was a controlled study. So they took one stem cell out of 80-year-old and they put it in a petri dish in a controlled environment, and they let it multiply over a month. And what they found is they found 200 stem cells were generated or duplicated. Wow. Okay, 200. They did the same thing with 30-year-old. Okay, same thing. After a month, they found that the one stem cell created 32,500 stem cells. So they did the same thing with a 0-year-old. And guess how many they found in a month?
60 billion?
No, it was 1 billion. You said billion. Usually people will say millions, but because you probably heard about them. But it's 1 billion. So one created 1 billion. Okay. So the best way to explain that is, say this wall behind me here is made out of bricks, and the semi came and tore it down. It will take an 80-year-old to put 200 bricks in a month. A 30-year-old, 32,000 bricks in a month, and a 0-year-old, 1 billion bricks in a month. So which one do you want?
I want the baby one.
Yeah, no, that's what people usually say.
You know, not all stem cells are created equal, though. Isn't that correct? Because I see some stuff on the internet, which we got to be careful, you know, saying a lot of great things about stem cells, and then I hear stem cells is a scam or whatever. As I know that's not true, and you know that's not true. What would you say about that? I mean, are stem cells really are they really created equal?
They're not. You have to get it from a reputable company that has their credentials, that has the research, that is working with the FDA. There's some companies out there that they get you basically the junk, you know, and they call it here, that's the stem cell. And they sell it maybe for cheap, right? And then that doctor goes, well, I'm just going to go with the cheaper brand than the most expensive brand, okay? And that's where that kind of comes along. But also, like I said, as a clinician, is that doctor doing an exam, extensive exam? Are they actually seeing where the root cause is coming from? Because like I've heard the stories where, I mean, I get them here in the clinic all the time, and they go, I already did stem cells. Why would I do it? I go, well, because your knee looks great. It's not the knee. I wouldn't have injected your knee. It's your low back. So you want to do it in the low back and trust me or not? And if they say yeah, and they see the results, well, I, you know, cleared the root cause. So there is also that factor. The other big factor is if you just do stem cells by themselves, yeah, they say the research says that you know, about 80% improvement. You'll see about 80% improvement. But the reason why we're getting over that 80% is because you have to do rehab. Not a lot of places do the rehab. You have to do the rehab. You know, it's just like getting surgery. You have to do physical therapy. If you don't do the physical therapy, then, you know, you're not going to see the results that you want to see. So a lot of places too don't do the rehab. So there's multiple factors out there. We use top of the top. It is basically, if you compare it like Lamborghini to a Kia, we're getting the Lamborghini. Because the company that we're using, they're actually sending 20% of their samples. So if I'm getting a sample, they're sending 20% of that to the FDA to get tested, which is none heard of in any other stem cell company. That's the pharmaceutical companies do that. They send 20% of their product to get tested. They're like, hey, we're going to do the same thing. We don't care about making that 20% extra money. We want to be the best. And then, you know, some places will use the same umbilical cord and keep replicating that over a few years. They don't do that.
Wow.
Okay. So it all depends on where you're going through, are they reputable or not? Is the clinician actually doing their job? Are they actually getting the rehab? So there's multiple factors, and that's why you can't just say, yeah, there's stuff that works, stuff that doesn't. So,
you know, it's interesting. I did some research on this subject, because it kind of piqued my curiosity, because I heard more positives than the negatives, the stem cells. So I went and did more research, and what I noticed is that a lot of the people that were complaining or putting information up, they were in different countries that weren't even in the States. So they weren't abiding by the rules. I know that in our state, United States, it's so strict.
Yeah.
I mean, the FDA was getting so strict, even with a lot of the doctors. Now it seems like everything's different. I mean, you can help me with this, but about a week ago, I saw something on the news saying that, that stem cells has basically been approved by the FDA for the coronavirus, for treating the coronavirus. I believe that's what I heard.
For testing.
For testing, forgive me, testing.
Testing corona. So yes, it was. I think it was last Friday. It was on the news. It said FDA approves coronavirus testing using stem cells. So that is a true statement that I actually saw on the news. Someone actually also took a picture of it and sent it over. But that company that I was telling you about that we're with, they do a lot of the research, right? They do a lot of the testing, and they actually told us, hey, just be aware this might be coming up, that if you want to join and do that and test it on coronavirus patients, that you can. So, and that's the decellular, see, I can't say it, decellularized nanoparticles, aka exosomes.
Right.
And the reason what the news is bringing it up is, I mean, what did they talk about before that? Is the malaria drug. Remember that? Like
Right.
about a month ago?
Yes, I
Well,
do.
there's 2 studies that came out of China that were published end of February. One was about the malaria, one about the exosomes.
Mhm.
Those were the 2 things that they were using, plus other things, for their coronavirus. And they found that, yes, by injecting that people were seeing a difference, and especially with the exosomes, they were seeing huge difference with it.
Wow.
Okay,
Mhm.
so you could say it's kind of like an antiviral,
Right.
and yeah, I mean that China released it, but the U.S. always wants to test,
Yeah.
right? Even though they got the info of, hey, this is what we're doing, they don't want to say, well, this is what we're going to do, because as a nation here, we're like a sue-happy nation, and they don't want to get sued, or they don't want all that. So that's why they call it testing. But yeah, I mean, it's already been tested.
I'm going to throw this out there just for fun. You're like, what's he going to say? Bill Gates has just recently looking at, funding to help out with the coronavirus. He was thinking that it would be great if they were to put kind of like a vaccine inside us, kind of like the size of a chip, to help fight the corona. What are your thoughts on that? Have you, I don't know, I'm just wondering, have you heard about that? Or?
So I actually briefly heard about that. But I mean, that would be a great idea. But is it just monitoring? Like, I don't know the specifics, so I can't really say. But
they say that it monitors. Yeah, it monitors where you could it'll let you know that if your blood pressure goes up, goes down. Let's say you're about to get hurt, it'll call the police. You can only buy with it being inside you, and it's also a vaccine to protect you.
So yeah, that could be all true, but the biggest thing with me is that's a tracker. They're tracking you.
Hey, hold on, that was funny. I love
that's
it.
That's the tracker.
Hold on.
That's the biggest tracker, so they can know where you're at, what you're doing every second of the day.
Dr. Mo, you made me look. Hey, it was. The funny part is everybody's thinking the same thing. It's a track. Look, we're all trying to be professional about this. So what are you?
It's a tracker. It's to track what you're doing, what your everyday activity is like, where you're going.
Hey, could you imagine, Dr. Mo?
I think they're going to use it to solve murders.
Hey, check it out. Could you imagine? Look, you walk into a grocery store and you're like, you think you got money in your account, and you're like, beep. They're like, sorry, you ain't got no money. I'm like, no, I know it. Well, try it one more time. Look,
Yeah, yeah. It's gonna be the checker of, hey, where were you at, you know, blah 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 day at blah 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 time. Oh, let's check your tracker.
You know what's a trip that we're talking about this? Man, there was a fantastic movie. It makes me want to watch it again.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
with
I
Tom
know.
Cruise. Remember? Tom
Who?
Cruise, where he would basically, they knew before somebody would go to prison, they had these little balls where it would tell them who was going to be committing the next crime, and so they would stop them like an hour before it happened.
Yeah,
Do you know what I'm talking about?
yeah. There's lots of movies kind of similar to that.
Right. It was just the best one I remember, which was like
Yeah.
in 2000. You know, but so I have one quick question before we go. One of the things that I wanted to kind of talk about was, what can we do right now to not get the corona, and what are you doing for your patients right now as we speak?
So I mean, you say so not to get the corona.
Yeah.
I mean, so
But that you would recommend. I know we got to watch what we say.
yeah, I mean,
But
you can't say, well, I can tell you a bunch of stuff and then you still get the corona, correct?
what can we? Okay. What are some things that we can do to avoid to make sure that we just protect ourselves? There we go.
So really, I mean, if you want to distance yourself, right? If you're old and you've got a depressed immune system, you definitely want to stay away. Anybody that has a depressed immune system, whether they have a condition or their immune system is low, or like say your diet is bad, you know, you eat fast food all the time, your immune system is gonna be bad. You know, a smoker, that's the biggest one that I tell a lot of my patients that are smokers. I go, you know, if you could just stop smoking just for these months, because the corona, that's where it's going, is it's going in the throat, and guess what? You're inflaming that by smoking. So just stuff like that, where stop eating the junk, you know, the candy, that sugar, carbs,
Right.
dairy. You know, if you're dairy, kind of a lot of times can inflame. So a lot of stuff that has that inflammation, you need to stay away from. Go on an anti-inflammation diet for now, and it's actually going to be cheaper. You know, people are going crazy in the supermarket, hoarding all the junk and all that stuff. Well, if you cut all that out, guess what? Your immune system is actually going to get better. You're going to feel better, and then think positive things. I mean, thinking the negative, thinking the worst is always going to bring, you know, your hormones and bring that immune system down. But always wash your hands, right? Don't touch your face. Wear the mask if you can. There's actually a study that came out of China that I read, and it was actually geared towards poor people, right? Because, you know, exosomes are expensive, or the malaria, or if they can't afford the malaria drug or whatever, you know. So they were saying you want to rinse your throat or your mouth, so gargling with vinegar or salt water, or what was the third? There was a third one: vinegar, salt water. I can't remember what the third one is. But do that like once or twice a day. They said also drinking hot water, or like hot tea or something like that. So drinking hot water, hot tea every 20 minutes, taking a sip of hot water. That will kind of like kill some of the bacteria, some of the stuff. Washing your hands, right? They were saying also on there that actually the coronavirus can stay on metal for about 9 days. So door handles, make sure you're cleaning door handles, making sure, you know, you're doing a lot of that stuff. What else?
When you go to the store, how are you? Are you dressed up in a suit with a big old mask? I mean, I'm just kind of curious.
You know, for me, I mean, I see patients all day, so we do wear the mask just to protect our patients, because I do have a lot of elderly patients that come in here. So we try and do our best for them. We do have protocols coming through the door. We actually take your temperature. We have to ask you a few questions. Been around anybody sick? Have you had any cough? Has anyone had a cough? You know, we have to ask you these series of questions before you walk in the door to make sure that, okay, you're good. You don't have a temperature. You haven't been around anybody. Then have you use a hand sanitizer, right? So the best way to wash your hand, and that's the biggest thing with people, and you might have seen it, you might have not. You have to do in between your fingers 5 times, okay? Then you want to get your nail bed and rub it in there 5 times, 5 times, and then get the whole around your hand, right? Go around 5 times. Now, the biggest one that people forget is their thumbs. You gotta actually get the thumb and that part and do it 5 times.
And you're a professional.
Okay? And then don't forget the wrist, right? I always get my watch and my bands because those are also exposed, and get your wrists. Okay? And then that's how you actually wash. And that is how you're supposed to do it under the sink. So you do it with the soap, do that with the soap, and that's what I do. And then do the same thing under water, hot water. So those are things, typically people will go in and they do their hands real quick with soap and water and they're done. No, that's how you avoid a lot of that stuff. They'll say also, if you've been outside and you walk in, take off your clothes and throw that in the wash right away and take a shower if you've been outside. Okay. So there's a lot of preventative stuff like that. With us, we actually we have a program, the Immune Boost program, that we've been telling all of our patients and for them and their families is, hey, come get an Immune Boost shot. That will boost your immune system. The adjustments, chiropractic adjustments, those are actually good for boosting immune system. Yeah. So people are actually scared. I've had people that say, well, I'm scared of going just to get an adjustment. Well, just doing the thoracic, the mid back, that's where the lungs are, and that's where the coronavirus goes. So if you boost that, get where you can get more air in that lung, because that's where the nerves for those lungs are coming from, is the mid back. But yeah, I mean, like I said, we've got different cocktails for different things, but right now we're going for the immune boost, and like I said, we're running out of them every week because they're popular.
What surprises me, I know that I don't know the exact numbers, but I know there's probably about 95% of the clinics are open around the world. I know there's probably a few that are closed for a while. But what's interesting is the other day, I normally, because I see a chiropractor at least twice a month, and during this whole thing, I was going over a month and a half not seeing a doctor, and my migraines were killing me. And finally, I just called. I didn't even care last week. I was like, get me in. And I went in there. Man, they did a full adjustment, migraines gone. And then it felt so good. I go, I'm coming back on Friday. So a lot of people don't realize, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but if we focus on taking care of the spine, it's going to continue with the blood flow. When we start getting blockage in there, that's when we start getting migraines. That's when we start getting maybe feet problems, neuropathy and stuff like that. Isn't that correct?
Yeah.
Because of the spine, meaning it needs to have that continual blood flow.
Yep. It's the spine, it's nutrition, it's exercise, it's everything. Everything connects. And if, like I said, get rid of the junk, right? Start eating cleaner. Stop the bad habits. Drink fluids. Drink the hot water. There's little things like that. Just start doing that. If you don't have someone around you to do an immune boost like we're doing, then take some supplements, or just be cautious.
Do something.
Yeah,
right.
Just do something. Think positively, Mm-hmm. Look at the paintings on your wall. Look at outside. It's starting to get nice. Go outside, but stay away from people. This is going to pass. This is going to pass. The news is actually hyping it up because what they're saying is, yes, there is deaths, but they're hyping on the deaths. They're saying that actually influenza is killing more people than the coronavirus.
That's true.
Okay. And I just saw it the other day because I was wondering, like, what percent of coronavirus people are dying, and I think it was like 2% were like, you know, influenza is higher. I don't know the stats, so don't quote me on
Right.
that.
But what's sad is we've got, I think the statistics were 60% of America is obesity, struggles with that.
Yeah.
And a lot of people die from that. But nobody talks more about that. I mean, we're looking at factors, numbers to numbers. And it seems like, and I'm not saying anything to people out there, because I know people that had the corona and fought it. And the reason why they were able to fight it was because of their immune system. So I do know that. And
that's what we're saying. Boost that immune system.
Right. But the older ones are not making, a lot of the older ones are not making it. Because I know someone that passed away. He was an older gentleman. He was in his late 70s, but they said his immune system was not strong enough. And then I heard from another doctor recently that they did a study out of 80 people that had the coronavirus. They, again, not mentioning any names, but they did a study, and he said that they were amazed that out of all the 80, they injected them with a stem cell treatment. And they said that all 80 of those people were green. They were healed because it regenerated everything inside.
It's the exosomes.
It's the exosomes, exactly. Hey, you're teaching me the ways of the force. Yeah, exactly.
Hey, I got my exosomes last week.
Yeah, I need to get another one. It's funny we're talking about that. I got it 3 months ago. Hopefully it'll last another 3 months. I'm praying. But I got mine 3 months ago, and I had some, because I have a mild case of scoliosis. And what was interesting, I normally get a lot of tense, and when I'm working a lot, it'll hurt. And what was weird was I took it, and I didn't notice anything right away. I was just like, whatever. The next day, I woke up. I'm like, what? I feel like I got a brand new neck. What? I don't feel no pain. I'm like, oh my God, I love exosomes. Ever since then, I haven't been in any freaking pain. For me, at least, everyone's different. I slept like a baby, maybe a little too deep, and I don't have those aches and the pains. But the good news about it is I'm not just relying on the exosomes. I'm working out every day.
Yeah.
I'm eating clean. I'm not eating my weakness, my Snicker bars and my Kit Kats. I'm staying away from my weakness. So again, we got to look at us as an investment. And I feel like there's so many people out there that don't look at themselves as an investment. And so they go like this with their money, instead of realizing it's not about money. It's about you being with your grandchildren, you being with your family many years.
Yeah. If you don't have your health, everything else doesn't matter. Money doesn't matter. Your car payment doesn't matter. Your house payment doesn't matter. Your saved money doesn't matter, because if you don't have your health, everything else doesn't matter.
You know,
you're not creating that memory with your family anymore. And that's what we're trying to show people, because a lot of times it's like money is first, right? Then there are loans or whatever, and then the health comes. It's like, well, we need to shift that to the top, because if you don't have that, then guess what? In a few years, you're not going to be here to worry about all that.
Right. It amazes me how you'll have some people that are just so focused on accumulating money, wealth.
No.
And then when they're on their last strand, they're spending basically all their money just to stay alive instead of working on this now.
Yeah. Money comes and goes. Your health, you only got one. If you don't take care of it, it'll be gone. And it's gone.
This is good stuff. I thank you so much for being on here. I actually enjoy this immensely. And before we go, I know there's a lot of people out there that are really worried and living in fear. And what would you say to people that are struggling in that? Because you and I know that fear really stands for false evidence appearing real. Not saying that this corona is not real, but fear itself, we got to be careful, because it can start to put us in a depression, and then our immune system goes down, and then we can draw things to us. What are some things you can maybe fire off with us on changing our thinking?
Yeah, like I said before, like if you're feeling down, and there's a lot of people that are. I mean, the news the other day was saying, hey, look at the sales of alcohol. It's gone up because now what people are doing, they're sitting at home, they're drinking, and they're kind of getting depressed, right? And they're doing those social hours on Zoom and all that, and everyone's drinking, and even celebrities are like, hey, look at my favorite cocktail that I created, or so don't have that be your solution, because that's actually an antidepressant, right? It'll get you more depressed, and guess what? You can drink more. Now you're not really feeding your body the good stuff, and it's going to be immune compromised now. So yeah, if you want to drink in moderate, but don't have this be, hey, I'm just going to get drunk now until this gets over. Like I said, just think happy thoughts, I mean, do some puzzles or do games. I mean, a lot, I've gotten people where they go, hey, I'm sick of my spouse. I've never sat with them for that long. It's like, then go on a walk, go do separate things, go pick up a hobby, if you've got something that needed to be fixed, go fix it. This is the time where, or, a lot of times have they hoard stuff. Go through your stuff, start cleaning things out, by tidying or cleaning or organizing or anything like that, actually starts to make you feel better about stuff.
Exactly.
Yourself. And then, like I said, just, if living in an apartment complex and there isn't much, and look out of your window, admire the natural, nature or the sunlight or paintings or, read a book or read something interesting or, documentaries or get educated. There's something that you can do, but yeah, if you start thinking negative stuff, you're not gonna have a great immune system. You want to boost that. You want to be happy. You want to, this will get over. We're gonna get over this.
No, you know what? I agree with you 100%. It's funny. When I talk with people on the phone or even on my page, I always tell people, whenever I'm struggling with, everyone gets depressed once in a while. That's normal. This is we're in a different type of month, going on 2 months. But I tell people, listen to, positive affirmations like Les Brown, Tony Robbins, people that really help you to shift your mind. Because when you're in that suppressant or depressant, it just takes a little pivot. Just, and I always tell people, think of things that make you happy. Your family. If your family doesn't make you happy, think of something that does. Hey, everyone's different. No pun intended. But yeah, thank you so much, Doctor, for being on the show. And you know what? I just wanted to say I look forward to having you on the next one. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. Thanks for having me. And